our first featured talk of the summit. And these are shorter talks by three very special people that all are very talented and knowledgeable. And the first one is Sue McDonough, who I've known for many, many years. She is a retired investigator with the state police. She was the president of the New York State Humane Association. Now she's their cruelty consultant. She lobbies, she's tireless, she's a wonderful horseman and an even better person. And she's here to talk about something that is really, really important. Moving animal cruelty into the penal code and out of ag and markets, because once it ends up there, usually it ends up dying. So this is relating to New York State, but it also pertains to other states, and I believe there are a couple of states that have already done this. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sue McDonough.
As Susan said, in New York State, we investigate animal cruelty under Article 26 of the Agriculture and Market Law. So, how many people are from New York State that are here today? Okay, how many of you have ever called the police about an animal cruelty case and were told to call the dog control officer or animal control? Okay, well, that is going to continue to happen unless the laws get put into the penal law. I've been a state trooper for 26 years. My first patrol area was Westport, New York, up near the, well, it's north of here about 130 miles, and part of my patrol area was the Adirondack Northway, so I would get all the trucks going up to Canada with the horses for slaughter. And then I worked on the New York State Thruway, and I would get the trucks going to slaughter. And so I've always had horses all my life. Before I was a trooper, I trained horses. And so animal cruelty became the most important thing to me, even more important than a homicide. And I was in a homicide unit for a while. But anyways, I started telling my sergeant that we're supposed to investigate these laws, and everybody's like, all the troopers that I work with, well, where do you find animal cruelty in the penal law? Well, it's not in there. It's in agriculture and markets. Well, it's very strange because it says right in the agriculture and market law under section 371 that the police must arrest any person who violates any of the laws that pertain to animal cruelty in New York State. It's just a mystery because the cops don't get taught this when they go through the academy. They learn the criminal procedure law, the penal law, and the vehicle and traffic law. And how can we be mandated to enforce animal cruelty if we don't learn the law? So what happened was our little organization, the New York State Humane Association, where most of us on the board are here today, we're all volunteers, none of us get paid. We decided that we would start going around the state and teaching the cops how to investigate animal cruelty. So we started doing that 15 years ago, and we've reached thousands of police officers around the state and taught them this law ourselves. Holly Cheever, who's been asking all the questions over there, she's one of the speakers. She's a veterinarian, and she gives a talk on what the vet's role is. Pat Valusik, who was on our board, she's here today. She organizes everything, makes sure we're all there and ready to give the class. When we first started out, we probably had 15 or 20 cops. We were in Long Island last year. We had 60 or 70 police officers there. We're going to be in Yonkers on Monday and up in Essex County next month. I still, even though I've been retired for a few years, they still ask me to come back and teach at the New York State Police Academy. The sad thing is, though, we're all going to be dead pretty soon. And this law has to get in the penal law because the cops do not take it seriously. A lot of them don't, and they don't know what to do. I mean, I get calls at 11 o'clock at night. When I go and teach this class, everybody gets my phone number. And if they're working on the midnight shift and they got a van pulled over with horses, They call me up and they say, you know, what are we going to do next? And I got to sit there and tell them. And if it gets put in the penal law, they must train the police around the state. So the bill number is A775 with Linda Rosenthal in the Assembly, A775, and Fusillo in the Senate, S1776. And one other thing I just want to say, if you hear that, well, there's more horse cruelty now because we're not sending horses to slaughter, I will tell you that as somebody who has investigated animal cruelty for 30 years, I have not seen any cases of people starving horses because they couldn't afford to pay for them. That's a crock of horse, that's a crock. I will tell you, the reason why we have so many problems with horses that are starving to death is because we've got these morons out there who hoard horses just like they do dogs and cats. They're animal hoarders. There's one up in Saratoga, Ann Arnold. I arrested her in 1997. She just collected a bunch of horses again, and they hoard them just like dogs and cats. They will let them drop dead before you, before they will release them to a horse rescue. They will keep them at all costs. There's one in Owl's Head, New York. The woman has close to 100 horses up there. They're dying as we speak. There's another one we got a call on Romulus, New York, with starving horses, and Messina. We get calls every day. And these people are hoarders of horses. And that's why they're starving. The only reason it gets in the paper, and I'm not trying to blow my own horn like they said, but it's getting in the paper because we are teaching the police how to go after these people now, how to investigate animal cruelty, and that's the reason. And the horses are not starving because they can't afford to take care of them. There's a bunch of rescue groups out there who would be willing to take them. These people will not give them up. We have to get these horses. It gets held up in court for a year sometimes before it goes to trial. Meantime, you've got these people feeding these horses, just waiting to see what the outcome is going to be, if they're going to have to give them back, whatever. So that's what the deal is. So if you're from New York State and you really want something to be done about the cruelty situation here, contact your legislators, ask them to make sure this bill gets passed. Okay, thank you very much.